All right, well, we run into a little problem with the 2008 Escalade with these rims. These are the OE rims. And what I've been doing is over the past, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, I've been nursing this little leak that I've had for quite a while. I'd have to air it up about once a week, something like that. Well, now it's gotten to the point where I'm having to air it up once a day. And I've actually marked them because I've identified the leaks. But right there between the green lines there, you can see that, if I zoom down there, I got a pretty good leak on my bead because the bubbles are growing. And then also down here at the bottom, there is another one that is a little smaller leak. And then on the back side, there's 2 more. And so, knowing what I know about these rims and reading up on the fact that these things start oxidizing on the inside and the chrome delaminates, I'm going to have to change rims. But before I give up on this rim, I'm going to get the tire off of it and let's see what's going on in there, because I may try to save this rim. So we'll get set up over here and get this thing took off, and then we'll go to the tire shop and have a look, see what's going on inside our rim. Alright, so here's our tire laying on the ground. As you can see, there's a little leak right there on the bead. And over here is another leak. And then on the back side, there's actually 2 more because I already checked it. I'm going to go get this tire took off, and we're going to see what we can do to fix this leak on this OE rim. Alright, so we got our tire and our rim separated over at the store. And the folks over there did a good job of working me in real quick. So got back in about 15 minutes, and that's just a little tip. If you're doing something like this and you bring just the rim and the tire over there to be dismounted or something like that, they get it in a lot quicker because they can work it in between the cars. So anywho, we can see right here, if these are our green marks that we had when we were on the vehicle, and you can see on the inside, and sure enough, it is all corroded up from all the funk. And I've also tried to get this one sealed before, because over at Discount, they said, oh, we can put some stuff on there and seal it up and all that. Well, they can, and it'll work for a little while maybe, but this one's in such bad shape, I think it needs to be cleaned up without having just slathered up with that goo. So we're going to do a little work on this and see if we can fix this thing so it'll last quite a few more years. But as you can see on my tire, and by the way, mark your tire in or out. When you take it back over there, that'll help them to make sure they get it on right, because if they don't have the vehicle, they don't know which side this tire is going to go on. So I'm going to mark out for them so they'll know the rotation. But if you look right here, you can see the previous goo that was put on there to try to seal it up. And like I say, it does last a little while, but it's not going to last forever when that rim is all oxidized. So just a little lesson learned. Need to make sure that you clean the rims up before you take it over there. I'll probably have them put some more of that on there just because that surface is so rough on the rim, and seal that back up. But we're going to sand all this down and we're going to seal it up, and I'm just going to paint everything, get a good seal on it, and then we'll be in good shape to have this tire put back on. Alright, so because this thing is so oxidized, this is just that big section that was really bad that it was leaking. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a screwdriver and get much of that oxide off, and also the dirt that has gotten down in that bead because it's not been sealing good. So that's a lot of what happens is crud gets down in there from the bad seal, and you can see all of that is never going to seal back up. We got to get every bit of that off there, and a lot of that's aluminum too. As you can see right over here, I'm having to chip the chrome up because the chrome has delaminated. So I got to get all of that off there, or that bead's never going to seal. And then I got to smooth that surface down a little bit. So looking pretty bad, but not as bad as you think. We just got to get it back down to the metal, and you can see all of that's oxide right there, just crunching right off there. And it's caught up under the chrome, because this chrome is in awfully bad shape. So we got to go around here and scrape all of that off. We'll continue to scrub here and get all the surfaces done, and then we'll be back here in just a little bit. Alright, so now that we got our aggressive screwdrivering, or I guess you'd say mini chiseling done, we got a lot of the oxide off. So now what we got to do is come in here with a wire wheel and we're going to wire wheel that a little bit and get the rest of that off there. And what I'm going to do is go all the way around the rim and take that black off that I had got put on there before, and then we'll get it all cleaned back up. So we just keep doing that all the way around the rim. Alright, so we're smoothed down quite a bit with the little wire wheel. So next stop is we got to take the Dremel and we got to knock this chrome down, those little chrome corners right there where I peeled it back. And you can use a normal size little barrel sander thing for the Dremel, but to get down in this groove down here you got to get the kit that's got the smaller ones. I mean, you could do the big one up here, but I'm just going to use the little one. That way I can get down inside of here and smooth that out as well. Plus I'll hit this chrome up here where that lip is and get that smoothed down a little bit. So now we just have to Dremel a little, smooth that chrome off. Then we just got to repeat that for everywhere we had that damage. So we got this spot, another spot on the other side, and 2 over here. So let's get over here and do that over on the other bad spot. And there we go. So now we're smooth. We don't have any sharp edges of that chrome anymore. And so we're in good shape to go ahead and seal up the chrome and seal up those areas. And then we can let it dry overnight and we'll take it back over there and get the tire put back on. Alright, so with everything chiseled off and wire brushed and then Dremeled out, we're actually looking pretty good, but the air can get up underneath that chrome right there as that chrome is delaminated, and it probably will continue. So what I want to do is try to seal that chrome up and prevent that from leaking any air, at least for a while. So what I'm going to do is use some Rust-Oleum enamel, and I'm going to enamel up any spot that I see that's got messed up chrome, and then that'll seal it up and it'll help me to keep the air in that tire. So what I do want to do is make sure I don't get any paint on my tire pressure monitor. So I'm going to tape over the top of that little guy right there. So there we go. So we got our monitor covered up, and next up we just need to get some alcohol, and we're going to alcohol the little areas right here as we paint them. So get us some alcohol on a little rag, and what we're going to do is wipe all that down just to eliminate any little particles that might be on there. So now we just get some Rust-Oleum and a disposable brush, and it doesn't matter what color. I got black, so I'm going to use black. So we paint, and we want to have a nice uniform coat on there. If you didn't want to have black, you could get gray, but I don't really care because it's on the inside of the tire and I'm not going to see it anyway. So paint up all those edges where that chrome was coming up, and then we'll just sit that overnight and let it dry. So don't have to be too particular. They're going to rebalance this tire anyway. We just got to make sure we get it all nice and sealed up. And there we go. So we're back to the beginning, and we got our chrome all painted. You can see where it starts running down. I'm going to touch that up a little bit right there. And we should be in pretty good shape. So there we go. So let's just lay it down on its face and let that paint dry, and then we'll come back tomorrow and so for the tire, now that the rim is drying, got painted, what I got to do is get this stuff off here that was put on there before, and so I don't want to be too aggressive with it. I'm just going to take my little thing and scrub on it a little bit. You could use one of those little hand ones if you had one. I'll just use this. And I just want to get any of that other glue that was on there off this tire. Alright, so with our bead all cleaned up, we are ready. Let this sit overnight and dry, and then tomorrow we'll take it back over to the tire shop and we'll have them put it back on. I'm going to have them put that goopy seal stuff on there in those areas that I marked in black, with the paint, and they'll goop those up, and then we should be good to go again. Alright, so we're back from the tire shop, and we got our tire put back on our rim, and it went well. They used that black stuff I was talking about to go around the bead, and you'll just have to ask them for it. They have it at all the tire shops, but sometimes these tire shops will tell you that it's going to leak and it ain't going to work and etc. But what you got to do is just tell them you want to put the tire back on the rim, and you're not going to hold them accountable for a bead leak or something like that. And then that way they'll go ahead and do it. And it's always best to talk to the person that's actually putting the tire on, like I did, because the sales guy came out and said, it's not gonna work, you need a new rim, try to sell me stuff. And all I wanna do is get this back on there, and then it's gonna give me some time that I can find either a good rim, or this one may last for quite a while and I don't have to worry about it. So just a little heads up, they might give you a little hassle, but just tell them, go ahead and put the tire back on the rim, and then check it, make sure it's not leaking, etc. But it should do fine if it's all sealed up and it's all been buffed off like we did. We shouldn't have any problems. And so now we can check it out and see what we got going on with this tire and rim. If we spray around, spray, and just fill that seam up with the soapy bubbles. And then we can look in this area right here is my green and my green. And so right there, no more bubbles. And then also on the other side where it had the green marks, no more bubbles. So that fixed up the seal. And like I say, it's not going to last forever. Might go another 2 years or something like that. But it buys me a lot of time to find me another rim that I could replace this with. Because I like these OE rims, or I can save up my money and change out the whole set if I start getting some issues with the other ones. But right here is all the crud that I cleaned out just for reference. You can see all the speckles and pieces of chrome and all that I had to take off to clean that up. All that oxide that came off that tire. So there we go. We just got to throw it back on there, and I may move this one to the back since it doesn't get as much bending on that bead in the back wheel. And if I do that, then I'll make another video. I'll put a link at the end on how to reset your locations for your tire pressure monitors, because this will become a back tire and I'll need to reset the tire pressure monitors to let it know that it's a back, and the one on the back will be on the front. Well, hope this helps someone, and thanks for watching.